Wow. What a finish to last night's game in San Diego. I still have goosebumps from it. The Steelers come back with an epic game-winning drive, and it sounded like something from a script or from Vince McMahon's feeble mind, but it was a terrific ending. You had the Steelers, they marched all the way, they got the ball to the 1 yard line with 5 seconds left, and they run the Wildcat play, hike the ball right to Le'Veon Bell, and it looked bad for a while because it didn't look like he was going to get it, and I thought, oh my God, he's not going to get it. He went backwards, but he manages to get in. He manages to get the ball across, and even then it has to be reviewed. I mean, that's more pathos, but it ends up counting, and the Steelers win the game, and that play might have saved the Steelers' season. Now, I'm not saying 2-3 is the end of the world, but 2-3 would have had the Steelers climbing a lot harder to get to a real good position. Of course, now they're 3-2 now. They got the win, and the climb won't be as strenuous, especially in a division where the Bengals are 5-0. Speaking of the Bengals and unbeatens, you've got four 5-0 teams in the NFL, but appearances can be deceiving. You have the Packers, Broncos, Bengals, and Falcons. Let's get one thing straight. The Packers and Broncos are 5-0 and should be 5-0. They are two strong teams with the two best quarterbacks in the league, Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning, and they're loaded. They have a loaded offense. They both have a loaded offense. As simple as that. The Bengals and the Falcons are 5-0 and they shouldn't be. The Falcons have two receivers and no quarterback. I don't know how that's possible. The Bengals have one receiver and one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. Dalton is a constant screw-up. I mean, it's because they won that game. They came back and won that game because Seattle has no quarterback themselves. I mean, Russell Wilson sucks. He single-handedly blew the Super Bowl, and his ineptness led to Seattle blowing a 17-point lead. I mean, the man is terrible. He's the reason why the Seahawks are 2-3, and people saying they could be in trouble. But like I said a few weeks ago, it's not over for them. They'll still win that division. The Cardinals will fall off, and so will the Rams. And speaking of the Cardinals, you're welcome. I said we'd show Arizona how to beat the Rams, and we did just that. The Packers had another great win against the Rams, 24-10. Now, the win came with some firsts for Aaron Rodgers this season. He committed his first turnovers of the season that game, 3 of them to be exact. Had his first interception at home since December 2012. A ball that was tipped by Chris Long and caught by James Laurinaitis. Yes, wrestling fans should recognize that name. He's Road Warrior Animal's boy, and he's the uncle of the immensely deadpan and, well, let's just say it, lack of character, Johnny Ace, John Laurinaitis, people power. You know that idiot. He threw 2 picks and lost a fumble, but Nick Foles was worse, throwing 4 interceptions, 1 in the end zone to Ha-Ha Clinton-Dix. So, and the defense was still surprisingly good. Defense has given up 13 points in 2 games. Actually, we usually give that up in a quarter. I'm saying this, I'm a big Packers fan, but I tell like it is when it comes to my team. And our defense is terrible. But in the last 2 weeks, the D's been jelly. That's good. I don't know how long it's going to last, so I'll just milk it in while it does last. And I mentioned the Bengals. The Bengals comeback win came in overtime. There were 3 overtime games in Week 5. That makes up for a great week. Like I said, the Bengals took care of business in overtime. The Browns managed to beat the dismal Ravens in overtime. And for the Ravens, that loss pretty much cements people sticking a fork in them. They're 1-4. Their only win came against a Pittsburgh team that basically gave them that game. And I mean, gave them the game. They really should be 0-5, but they're 1-4. But even so, they're screwed. They can forget it. And another team that can forget it is the 49ers. The 49ers are also 1-4. They lost 4 straight since winning against Minnesota. And I said Seattle's going to win the division because Arizona and the Rams will fall off, but the Niners are already falling, and they're going to keep falling. So, and speaking of divisions, I have to talk about the NFC East. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean the NFC East. Of course, that least thing slipped out because the division seems to be posed to be this year's train wreck division. You notice every year since 2010 when the Seahawks won the division at 7-9, everybody remembers that. There's been at least one division. There's been one division that just looks bad, and I know this from experience because in 2013 the NFC North was a cesspool. With Aaron Rodgers out for 7 weeks, everybody in the division just sunk. And that included a crazy week where nobody won in the division. But in the end, the Packers won that division with a record of 8-7-1. Last year, the Panthers won the NFC South at 7-8-1. So, what's in store for the NFC East? Ooh, there's that Freudian slip again. But, everybody talks about the Cowboys are in disarray, and they are, but so is the rest of the division. The Giants lead the NFC East at 3-2. Everybody else is 2-3. As far as I'm concerned, that division is wide open. Even Washington, who was depicted as the NFC's biggest train wreck, even bigger than the 49ers, they have a shot. And as Dallas came off a horrendous home loss to the Patriots, 30-6. So, but like I said, they're still in it. I mean, the division is just terrible. And I remember when I was little, the NFC East was monstrous. Back in the good old days, where it was just East, Central, and West. They had those 4 teams and the St. Louis/Phoenix/Arizona Cardinals in the East. Back in the good old days, where the NFC was geographically incorrect, you had Arizona in the East, and Atlanta and New Orleans and Carolina in the West. But that division used to deliver with at least 3 playoff teams a year. Dallas was always there. Philly and Washington were pretty good. The Giants were good. The fifth wheel of that team was the Cardinals, but even they were kind of dangerous at times. Now the East is suffering this season. Like I said, 3-2 leads the division. I remember watching Party the Russian and Tony Kornheiser saying somebody may win the East with about 6 wins. I'm not going to go that far, but it's not going to take much to win that division. And it's going to get interesting in Week 6 because Week 6's Monday night game is Giants and Philly. That is a very delicious rivalry. It has been for the last about 6-7 years. And the game's in Philly, so there's a good chance Philly might steal one, and both teams could end up 3-3. Washington has the Jets, and Dallas has a bye. So we could see 3-3 teams, and Dallas right behind them at 2-3, with a game against the Giants coming up for Week 7. Week 7, by the bye, is the Packers' bye week. But before that, the Packers play at home against the Chargers. And the Falcons start the week against the New Orleans Saints. This will be the Falcons' first divisional game of the season, and that should be a doozy. The NFC South is kind of a near black and blue division, not like the North, but it's black and blue. Especially last year when everybody was beaten up, but of course the Panthers were the least beaten up. And then there's the Lions. What can I say about them? I think they've regressed. They have quickly regressed back to that terrible, terrible team they were during all of the first decade of the 21st century, which included the historic 0-16 season, the season I never thought would happen to anybody. They're 0-5, and Stafford's bad performance led to him being benched early. They put Dan Orlovsky in. If you know who he is, good for you, because no one else does. But like I said, the Lions, they're pretty much dead. The Packers are right away to the division. We have a 2.5 game lead over the Vikings, who were off last week. But the Vikings have a home game against the Chiefs. The Bears and Lions play each other this week, and of course, like I said, the Packers have the Chargers, who are stinging from that final second loss at home. So, as I said, week 5 was terrific, but I have a feeling week 6 will be just as terrific, if not even more epic. So, with that, I say enjoy the rest of the NFL season. I know I will.